Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Trust and Believe. Listen, this is going to be quick, fast, and in a hurry because I have something very important that I think is going to help you when it comes to your long-term fitness and your long-term health. All right, I'm going to give you 12 things that will keep you motivated so that you can stay motivated and consistent in your fitness for over a year. Now, I have developed and created programs that are 30 days, 50 days, 60 days. You've seen programs that are 90 days, some are 6 weeks, this, that, and a third. But what happens sometimes is when people see the finish line at the very beginning of their journey, they sometimes think that that is the finish line. And what I would like to show you today and help you understand today is that your fitness, while people say it is a lifelong journey, I'm going to help you understand how simple it is to stay committed. Okay, I'm going to give you 12 things. And the way I want you to set this up now is going to be different than what a lot of people tell you to do. But what I want you to do is set this up so that you focus on one thing per month. Now, in no particular order, right? I'm not going to say you should do the first thing in January or the second thing in February. I'm just going to say, I'm going to give you 12 things. Take notes on those 12 things. And then once you have those 12 things, you put it next to the month in which you want to focus on that particular goal or that subject or that thing. Okay, so it's going to be very simple. So grab a pen and pad unless you're driving. I don't want you to do that while you're driving, and get ready to trust and believe that you can stay committed to your fitness for over a year and beyond.
Somebody say hell yeah!
What's up?
He's better than Oprah.
Come on, y'all.
This is Shaun T, and it's time to trust and believe. All right, as I begin this podcast, I want to say that I know you are quarantined out there and life is extremely tough right now. So that's why I Team Shaun T developed this shirt that says, "Together we rise." I wanted to bring our team together, bring the community together, to just have something that we can wear on our chest to say, you know what, I want to wear my motivation and I want to put a positive message out there every day. So if you are listening or watching this Trust and Believe podcast, all you have to do is go to Shaun T Apparel and put in the code Trust and Believe, and we will give you 20% off this shirt. All right, so that's enough about that. I just love wearing my motivation. It's so fun. All right, here we go. Number one on how to stay focused and committed for a year and beyond. Number one, do what works for you, not for them. Far too many times we look at what other people are doing, and this subject is gonna come up a few times in the next few minutes, but do what works for you. I'm gonna tell y'all the craziest story. It's not like it's crazy to me. Do y'all know that there are times when I eat more carbs, when I go beyond in the carb zone, that I get more ripped? Like if I actually eat pasta, right? Gluten-free, of course. Yeah. You've heard so many times, eat lean this, eat lean that. Don't eliminate carbs, eliminate this. For some crazy reason, if I'm eating really healthy and I dive into some carbs for 2 days, on day 3, I'm ripped like a mother. Now, I'm not saying for you to do that, and I'm not saying that that works for everyone. I'm basically saying, or not basically, I'm telling you straight up, that you have to focus on what works for you. There are things that you have been doing or have done in the past that have worked for you in your fitness, and you've changed your mindset and changed your actions because she said to do this, or because he said to do this, or because you saw someone get results by doing something else. And I'm here to tell you that your body is made up of your own personal DNA, and you have to do whatever works for you to get the results. And sometimes, y'all, it is so simple. I know plenty of people who go out there and they eat lettuce and they eat chicken and they eat tuna and they eliminate carbs and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't lose weight. They're like, oh my gosh, because they're not doing what works for them. Now, I'm talking about food right there. The other thing that's very important is your fitness. Maybe cardio is not your thing. Maybe weightlifting or, high intensity interval training with weights, or maybe dancing. For me, if I want to lose weight, really fast, if I want to lose 12 pounds, I need to dance every single day. I need to take dance class. And I'm telling you, probably within 15 days, I would have lost 10 pounds if I take like 2 classes a day. That's me. There are people out there who can take 2 classes a day and not lose the weight, but they can lift weights and lose and lean out. So do what works for you and not for them. And I want you to figure out what that is. The second thing is science or self-reliance. What does that mean? Some people get really motivated by the science. People, or years ago, it was like calories in, calories out. Some people are really focused on this is what happens with your hormones. Some people are really focused on intermittent fasting. Like me, I love what happens to your body when it's in the fasting zone, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. I love science. But some people are like, I'm going to focus on self-reliance. Forget the science. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat what I want in terms of what's healthy for me. And I'm going to lose the weight the way I do it, which goes back to number 1, which is do what works for you and not for them. But number 2 is really, are you focused on the science or are you focused on self-reliance? You have to choose what works for you. Again, I'll say it again. Some people are really scientific and they're like, I want to follow this science to a T. And some people are like, nope. This is what's been working for me for the last 15 years, a 10 or 5, and this is what I'm going to do. And it's completely different than what some people, focus on in terms of science. So science is self-reliance, or you can do a combo of both, right? So it's okay to do a combo of both, but you have to choose which one is working for you. Number 3, do one thing at a time and shorten the goal. And what do I mean by that? All right, so far too many times we start a fitness program and we're like, I'm going to change the way I work out. I'm going to change what I eat. I'm going to change my personal development. You change all of these things at one time and then you get overwhelmed. When I have seen so much success when people are like, I'm just going to focus on eating healthy this month. What happens is they focus on eating healthy and then they're like, eventually they're like, I want to work out. Because if I'm eating healthy and I feel the results and I see the results, I'm like, dang, like how cool is this? Now I can actually tone my body. You're more motivated to do the other thing when one thing is working. Or it's the reverse. You say, I'm gonna be really hardcore in my fitness, and you feel the soreness in your muscles, and then your mind's like, I gotta eat healthier, right? Because you focused on one thing, other things come into play. And then the other thing that comes into play if you focus on eating healthy or if you focus on working out really hard is the personal development, because you automatically start to think more positively. And when all of these things start happening, then your life becomes better. But the inception of all of this is because you started with one thing instead of 15. Even with my challenge group that I'm doing right now, I'm like, the workouts are so difficult and I'm putting my body through such turmoil that I'm like, forget that. If I want to go and have one of my boys' cookies, right? I would, in the past, I'd be like, I'm gonna grab a cookie. But now I'm like, I work too damn hard. I'm going to eliminate this cookie and I might do it later. Instead of having 2, I'm gonna have 1, right? Your mind starts to change so quickly. So in terms of, in a good way, when you start to focus on doing one thing better, everything else can fall into place. So that is one thing at a time and shorten the goal. The fourth thing is increase your support. Like I said, I'm doing a challenge group right now, and it's so incredible because you just go into this group and there's thousands of comments every day after people finish a workout, and you're not going at it alone. Or, you work out with your spouse. Like I work out with Scott. I know Alex and Steve work out together. I know, Sam, if you don't know, these are people on Team Shaun T and my friends. Sam works out with his friend Chris. Chip works out with Elliot. Like everyone has some sort of in-person accountability partner, But the other thing is when you join groups like my Dig Deeper group, you have an amazing support because you just know that like while you're digging deep or when you're pushing play or whatever you're doing in your workout, you can go into the group and you know that you're just not, there's a place for you to share your experience and your results, and it helps you feel really good. Okay. Thing number 5, which I absolutely love, conquer your mind. So I say compete with your mind. So some people are very competitive. Like if they just woke up and said, I'm going to work out today, I'm going to eat healthy today, it's not that great for them. But then there are some people that's like, yo, I'm going to compete with myself. I know for me, over the years, the one thing that has worked for me in terms of if I want to go to an extra lean type of body, I'm like, I need to focus on doing the hardest thing, and I need to almost not want to do it, to be extremely competitive with myself. So how are you going to compete with your mind, right? I find it very, very interesting. A lot of people have joined. So I had a challenge group that was 20 minutes, a day. They had 12,000 people in there. Amazing. People were so excited. I come up with a challenge group for 60 days of like, I'm like, this is going to be the hardest shit ever. And people are like, I'm doing it. And that goes to tell me, or even when Insanity came out, people are so afraid that no one's going to do it because it's so hard. And I'm like, no, people are going to do this. No, people are going to do this because there's that mindset out there that's like, well, this is no BS. Like, I know I'm going to push myself. I know I'm going to get a great workout every single day. Not that you don't with other programs, but the fact that you're going into what I call the gauntlet, and even beyond that 20 or 30 minutes, you have to push so hard, right? That is competing against your mind every single day. And some people find it extremely, extremely motivating. I know I do. All right. The next thing is accept change. Accept change. There are a lot of people out there who, they may have lost a pound or they may have done this and they're like, oh, but. Or they may have ate healthy for a week and a half and they're like, oh, but. You're throwing it away because of the end result. But you have to accept the change that's happening right now. When you accept the change that's happening right now, whether it's food, whether it's your fitness, whether it's your mindset, when you accept that change, you dive into that change. When you dive into that change, you digest that change. When you digest that change, it becomes a lifestyle for you. So don't throw away these little changes that are happening in your fitness or your health. Don't throw it away. These things that are getting better. Accept them right away, even if it's not the end result. Because accepting those little things of change, man, you're like, okay, cool. Like there's something positive that's happening today. So the next thing is know your limits, break your limits, right? So of course, if you have an injury, you know your limits. How do you break that? By saying, okay, if I can't jump, but I can add a dumbbell in my hand when I'm doing my squats, I'm going to actually know my limit, but I'm still going to go through breaking my limit. The other thing that I always find at the end of a workout, if you haven't watched my video on the 3 things you should do at the end of your workout, I always, in the middle of the workout, when it's really tough, when Shaun T is transitioning to another exercise, instead of taking a break between the 2 exercises, I push through. I'm like, I'm going to start the next exercise right away, simply because I know my limit, but I'm also going to try and break through that limit, right? So 1 month, it's just like, what are my limits? Every time before you work out, or when it comes to your nutrition, like if you're intermittent fasting, you say, I'm a 16-hour faster, but today I'm going to do 16 hours and 15 minutes. So just know your limits, but break your limits. And it goes back to what I say, even when I talk about my book, running through the finish line. The more you can, run through the finish line just a little bit, the more you dive into my methodology, if you will, when I say the work doesn't begin until you get tired. And you start to know that there's always a reserve. So know your limits and break your limits. And this next thing is really interesting. And it might seem very much the same, but know when it's too much. And this goes into something a little bit more deep and personal. So I've had friends who have had eating disorders, and I've had friends that have worked out and overtrained too much, and I've had friends that ate excessive amounts because they were just doing too much. And so you have to know those breaking points in terms of too much. You're like, okay, I'm in my nutrition, but am I doing too much? Am I not eating enough? I'm working out, but am I working out too much? So before, when I said know your limits, break your limits, that's like in the workout or in a fast. It's like one day I'm gonna do 15 minutes extra, or in my workout, I'm gonna push a little harder. This what I'm talking about when I say know when it's too much is sometimes you have to scale back, and it's okay to scale back. Instead of working out 7 days a week, you're like, yo, I need to hit this 5, or I need to hit 4. I need to find balance, right? And so people out there, like I said, I've worked with people who've had eating disorders, be it too much or too little. And I've worked with people who've worked out too much and sometimes not at all. So you have to know when too much is too much. And there's this little thing that happens when you start to feel yourself going down this path, right? And it's really interesting, and you have to kind of really stay connected. So a lot of these things that I'm talking about, and people who have had eating disorders or anything of the similar, they know it is a sickness. So the other thing that I'm a big proponent of is therapy, which takes me into the same thing, knowing when it's too much. Sometimes, I think 1 month, if you don't have a therapist, just do 1 month of going to a therapist, because a therapist, he or she can help you balance out your life to help you through some of these things that can possibly take you on a road that you don't want to go on. Because fitness sometimes is just too much. You get overwhelmed, and you start to do too much. So knowing too much is too much. All right. The next one is to scale or not to scale. This is very simple. Some people jump on a scale every single day, and some people are like, I don't want the scale at all. I'm a person where I jump on a scale every 9 days. I used to walk in my bathroom and get on a scale every day, and the scale and that number would determine my personality for the day. And I was just like, and even if it was positive, like if I lost 2 pounds, I'm still being guided by a number. So for me, I was like, I need to scale back the scale. There are some people who are like, this is what's motivating me, seeing the number, seeing the maintenance, or seeing the decrease. Or some people who like to gain weight, because I know a lot of people who like lift and they like to build up that weight. So you to scale or not to scale. 1 month of to scale or not to scale. Let me focus on my weight. Or let me say, I need to get rid of it. Whatever you're doing in the other months, that month, do the opposite. Just to try it out, try something different. Or if you're like, I never want to jump on the scale, then great. That month, you don't look at the scale at all. Only thing I want you to do is focus on your physique. Okay, the next thing is parties and dinners are fun. Now, there are a lot of people who say, if I go to parties, if I go to dinners, I go in a downhill spiral. And maybe, your therapy sessions can help you with that. But listen, y'all, I know for me, I used to go to a party and be like, oh my gosh, I want to keep my 6-pack, so I'm not going to have the cake, or I'm not going to drink. And I'm like, fuck what you heard. I'm like, no. For me, the balance is so important. If I'm going to a party, or if I'm going out to dinner, especially to a restaurant that has really good food, I'm not eating a salad. Like if I'm going to spend money at a restaurant, I'm eating. Now, if it's just a lunchtime thing, or if it's a brunch meeting with somebody, then cool. Like I'll get my salmon or my salad. I'm like, okay. But if I'm going out to a party to have fun, or if I'm going out to dinner with friends to an amazing restaurant that has incredible food, while I'm not going to eat the cheese pretty much because I don't want a stomach ache, I'm not even going to say indulge. I'm going to enjoy. Now, again, the flip side of that is, are you able to do that while still staying strong and committed to your goals? I would say you should be able to build up to that and do your best. And whether it's journaling or therapy or something, figure out why does food have power over you. And that's why I developed my course, Mood for Food, which will be in the link below if you want to check it out. It's just basically an open conversation that you can do with your family or your friends. it's like food is supposed to give us energy, but also like the culture of food is really important and fun. You know, I remember an interesting story. Scott and I went to our friend's house who are from Pakistan. And I didn't walk in that house being like, okay, they're giving us dinner. I'm only going to eat the salads. I'm like, forget that. I learned how to eat with my hands. I got that rice. I got the different meats they had. I got the desserts. I don't think they drank, but they had, you know, some sort of juice or whatever. I'm like, I'm enjoying this. This is a party. I need to indulge in not necessarily the food, but the experience. So parties and going out to dinner is not bad. It's all about having control. Okay, 2 more things. Really important, which I think this should be 6 months into your yearly staying committed and beyond, which is figure out what's next. A lot of people, again, they look at the finish line, like when people are getting married or they're going to a reunion or it's the 4th of July or it's a vacation and they're going to the beach. They don't figure out what's next. They look at the beach, they look at the wedding dress, they look at the vacation, and they look at the reunion and they're like, that's the end. No, like that's not the end, because your life still continues and being healthy feels really fucking good. So what is next for you, right? So for me, okay, I got these 60 days of this dig deep challenge that I'm doing, but little do these people know, unless they're watching this now, I already have the next thing that I'm doing set to take people beyond. Even when I did the Transform 20 challenge group last, I knew I wanted to do something that was a little bit tougher in terms of like how long you have to work out, right? So I'm always figuring out what's next, and that's always taking me to the next level of my fitness, even down to my own career. Like I have like 3 programs that I've already basically created that if Beachbody says, Shaun T, you want to do another program? I think I've even pitched a couple. Like I already know, like I have that next thing because it keeps me motivated to push forward. All right. And last thing, and this is very important, only be a fitness professional if you're in a fitness competition, right? Or if you're a fitness professional. We see these fitness professionals and we see these amazing physiques on Instagram and social media, right? And people look amazing. Trust me, in my homepage feed or whatever it's called on Instagram, I come across women and men with great body, great physiques. I must like those photos, obviously. But for me, I'm a 42-year-old man. I'm not gonna look like a 25-year-old, right? I love my body. I love what I can do with it, right? I am in the fitness industry. So yeah, like fitness is partly my job, but being a fitness model is not my job, right? They have to be extremely ripped, 4 to 6% body fat all the time. I only do that like I'm doing right now with Dig Deeper because it's fun, but I'm not trying to do that all the time because I'm not going to take photos like that all the time. So for you out there, if you are a full-time 40 to 70 hour a week person who has to go home and take care of their kids after work, or if you're a stay-at-home parent and you only have a little bit of time between dinner and when the kids go to bed to work out, or if you have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, don't pressure yourself into being or looking like a fitness professional, because you have to understand that their job is to look good. They get paid to take photos. They spend most of their day, being really focused and diligent and having a tremendous amount of focus when it comes to making their body look good. But don't pressure yourself into being a fitness model or doing a fitness competition unless you're actually going to do one, right? Your body can look really good and can be really solid and be internally like highly functional if you just work out every day, eat healthy, and find different ways to stay motivated, which are those things that I just talked about. Listen, I know you can do it. I know you have the power to stay committed and stay focused. And I know you have the power to make this fitness thing a lifelong journey. So I hope you took some really good notes. I hope you understood what I was talking about. I'm very passionate about people not comparing themselves to other people and finding a way to maneuver through their own personal fitness journey and just not comparing yourself to people in general. Even when it comes to your family or your friends or your job or what you want to do in life. Like, do what you need to do that's going to bring you the highest level of happiness and just feeling good in your body. And always trust and believe in who you are. And thank you.